Joining us for our next conversation, it's all about strengthening human rights advocacy among youth in Belize with the University of Belize. And joining us, we have Ms. Abby Godoy, and she is the project coordinator of the UB EU Human Rights Project. Good morning, Abby.
That's right. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here today.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, it's a very broad conversation when we're talking about human rights.
It's so broad.
Right? But the project itself is a collaboration between the University of Belize and the EU. Let's talk about that for a second.
So the European Union is funding the project, and the project is being implemented by the University of Belize. So our office is in Belmopan at UB, so you can always find us there. And while it's a very big scope, if you look at our really great poster, there's 3 pillars, which is academic research, capacity building, and human rights education. So this is year 1, and so we're focusing on academic research. So that's what the entire year is about, and I'm happy to talk about some of the projects that we have coming up in that area. So for example, right now we have a call for the Journal of Belizean Research, which is a special call on human rights. So apart from teaching people about human rights, when you look into the research about what's happening in human rights in Belize, you sometimes are hard-pressed to find something outside of Belize's UPR. And so we're hoping to build out some of that by accepting papers from anyone, anywhere, who is doing research in Belize related to human rights. So that's one of the first things that we're doing, but also we're currently working on our national survey. And so there will be a national survey that we'll disseminate between November and February of 2026, which will kind of gauge what the perceptions of human rights are. What do people know about human rights? So that part isn't just focused on youth. Like, we have a target for youth responses, but we'll be sharing that with the entire public. And so we're hoping to see what people think about human rights. What do they know? Because what we know from initial conversations is people kind of know what human rights are, and they usually try to pigeonhole it into human rights are only for these select people and they don't care about my rights. But no, human rights are for everybody. And people often think, oh, but if you're a human rights champion, that means you want to infringe on my rights. Like, no, I want to protect everybody's rights. And the problem about human rights is if you don't know your rights, how can you defend them?
If you don't know your rights, you'll be trampled upon. Your rights will be trampled upon, right?
In every sector of life. It's not just for a specific group of people.
How has the intake of these academic papers been? And I ask that because you touched on a very important note that when you try to research on human rights in Belize, there are only certain policy documents that you get from the government, and then there's nothing else really. Right. So how is that going? Are you receiving papers?
We have received, so right now the paper proposal is what we're getting, and so the full paper isn't due right now. So the first deadline that we have is July 30th, and that is for your proposal. So even if you don't have a full fleshed out paper, you can submit the proposal, and if you need guidance, we can help guide you through that writing process. Because people think that, oh, I need to do all of this really hard work and whatnot. But like, no, a lot of human rights research is a lot of lit reviewing and going and making connections. So once you have an interest in research and a specific area, you're good to go. We have gotten some submissions. They're very exciting. I think people will be really surprised when they see what people are working on in human rights. But the hope is that we will get enough submissions to make a published book.
Oh, wow.
Ambitious?
Very ambitious indeed.
Yeah.
And how has the University of Belize, particularly the research office, been able to, I guess, inspire young persons, young youths and academic researchers, students, not just at UB, but among the tertiary level institutions to get to be a part of this?
Yes. So I'm actually so glad you brought the research office up. As you can see, the project lives within the research office, and I think that the work that's happening at UB within the research office is so amazing, and it does not get enough attention. So I recently went to a research conference vibe where a lot of people who have submitted research and published research within the university had a chance to present their papers. And there's so much happening within that realm. And it's just crazy to me that, like, people are always like, oh, no one's doing anything, no one's doing, but they are. We just don't see it.
It's not published.
It's not published. Well, it is published. It's just not made public, or people don't engage with it. So I think that what the research office is doing through this project is, I'm always on the ground. I'm always around the university. So you will always be able to see me, find me. And so that's one of the ways that we have that front engagement, is that there's now a point person specific to the project. So you can always find us. We have office hours that people can just drop in. And it's not just for UB students. We are working with all at-lib institutions. And so we're also now having another exciting thing that comes out of the project. So 3 weeks ago, we had a public call for a youth and CSO representative. So 2 different calls. So it was open to youth, and then there was one specific to somebody working within civil society. And so we actually got so many great responses to the youth one that we've decided to create a youth advisory team that will work separately from the PSC. And so that's really exciting because it's so amazing to see that youth really want to engage and they want a forum to kind of share their ideas. And some of the things that they said in their writing is just the depth of knowledge of human rights and how much they want to help further that cause is so amazing, because I feel like so many times the narrative that wins is, oh, the youth don't care about anything, the youth don't care about anything, but that's not true. Clearly they do. Yeah. It's just that they don't have a space to bring that forward.
So I just wanted you to quickly, before we wrap up our session this morning, when is the call for papers deadline for the Journal of Research?
July 30th is the call for paper proposals. So we're doing like abstracts first, and then we'll see how we can transition that into a full paper.
Okay, and that is July
30th.
All right, and anybody, how can they get a hold of you to send in their proposals?
It's super easy. You can get a hold of us by just emailing humanrights@ub.edu.bz.
Okay, and they can just send their abstracts there.
Whatever. Any questions, ideas, suggestions, anything you want, send it there.
And how can they find out more about this initiative?
The university page, Facebook, we're online.
Okay. All right. Well, Abe, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and we hope that you can come back again. But do you have any final thoughts before we leave?
I just want the public to know that human rights is well and alive in Belize, and if you have any interest in engaging, we're here and we're happy to listen.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. We're going to take our final break, and we'll be right back. Don't go away.